From the last time that I covered Terra Luna, which was during the crash, which roughly about 4 months ago, to now, Terra has increased something like 30,000 or 38,000%. Right? Look at this number here, 39,481%. Right? That's in 4 months. That's the enormous increase that this token has had in the last 4 months, and off late, in the last couple of days or in the last couple of weeks, there has been some significant increase. Right? So what's really driving this? Is this worth getting onto? Is there something of value here? We'll talk about that in today's video. Now, in the last 1 week alone, 1 billion has been pumped into Terra Classic's market cap. Right? Now that's insane. Look at this. The market cap is about 2.7 billion. The 24-hour trading volume itself is about 2.1 billion. So what's really happening? Can Terra, which is today at some infinitely small number here, can that actually reach $1? Basic question is no, because if it reaches $1, there are about 6.9 trillion Terra. Assuming that none of them are burnt, then that's roughly a market cap of 6.9 trillion. So no, it's not going to $1. But why is it really driving up in price? There must be some reason. Let's look at that. Go to the governance section, right, of the Terra website and see what are the new proposals, because this is where the fun is really happening, right? The community is trying to do something to make Terra Luna relevant again. What are they trying to do? There are a number of proposals that are put out, and many people are trying to give out their ideas. People are talking about it, people are commenting, people are disagreeing, agreeing, etc., proposing new ideas. What I would like to focus on is the ones that have an enormous number of comments over here, like 17.2k, 28.3k, etc. Now, what is common among all of them? Common among all of them is the fact that they're all trying to introduce a burn mechanism, right? Burn and remedy, pool tax, etc., etc. They're all trying to introduce some sort of a mechanism to burn the existing set of tokens, because today there is something like 6.9 trillion tokens of Terra, and they have to burn it or bring it down to a significantly lower number for the price to go up. It's as simple as that, right? Otherwise, price is not going up, and they're all trying to do something to make it happen. Now, will this work? Does this work? We'll go over one of these proposals which have actually driven this rally up, but largely this burn proposal of whatever 1.2% or 6% or 5% or whatever number that different people are suggesting, this is what is really driving up prices, because people are hoping that if you hold on to some of these Terra Luna coins in a few days or in a few weeks, as one of these burn mechanisms get accepted, and if it actually happens, then the price will automatically rise. That's the simple logic. This is it cannot get dumber than this. Binance has always been doing this, right? With the BNB chain, roughly about this was on April 19th, a few months ago, $772 million worth of tokens were burnt. So this is nothing new. A lot of cryptos are doing this. A lot of cryptos are trying to use burning mechanism as a way to increase the price. But understand this, that the price of a token, the value of a crypto, should be inherently derived from the problem that they're solving and not from a burn mechanism, because this is pure gimmick, nothing more than that. Burn mechanisms in the long run have no effect on price. In the short run, of course, they might have some effect on price, but you as a retail investor, if you're stuck holding a bag of tokens that were using this burn mechanism, and if you for whatever reason bought it at the top of the price, then you're dead, right? That whole investment of yours is going down the drain. Now let's try and understand this. There's a proposal for the 1.2% tax parameter change. So what is he saying? He's saying that this proposal initiates tax for all on-chain transactions as first described in proposal 3568, so which is roughly about 1.2%. So that means every transaction that happens on Luna, there'll roughly be 1.2% is collected as tax, and that will be burnt, right? So that's how much Luna will be going out of circulation, and they're hoping to do this to reduce the number of Luna in circulation so that eventually the price can go up. There are a lot of ways in which this can happen, a lot of places that it can happen. Now, for instance, if you send it from a centralized exchange to your wallet, a burn can happen. But where it does not happen is, for instance, within centralized exchanges. So a lot of people trade on, let's say, on a Binance or an FTX. Over there, this burn mechanism will not apply. So those are certain places where it will not apply. Let's try and understand the pros and cons. Pros is proof of community-driven governance realized on-chain. I have no idea why that's even like, yeah, fine. There's a community that's trying to do something, but community is like, it's a bunch of people trying to do something stupid. So I don't think that's great. Deflationary pressure on both Luna Classic and USD. Okay, that's what you're intending to do. Potential short-term catalyst in attracting new retail investors. That is true. That's what the proposal intends to do. But this is what is really scary, right? This is what retail investors must absolutely avoid. Because if you're a retail investor, you are driven by the fact that Luna is increasing, let's say 39% in the last 24 hours, or 50%, or 100%, or whatever number it is. This high number of that Luna is increasing by in terms of price is what is attracting you, and that is what is really scary. Because if you will come in as a new investor and you're holding a bag of coins that in a few days, in a few weeks might be worthless, right? So be careful of that. Centralized exchanges will not consider burn off chain until enacted on chain. Those are the pros. The cons: taxes are potentially detrimental for long-term economic activity and utility on chain. That's true, right? Because no transaction in the world will survive if you're going to put a tax. It just simply doesn't work. What is the closest? Well, the closest example of if I were to compare with real life is the MDR rate that your Visa, every time you swipe your credit card, the Visa, MasterCard, and the banking partners in between are charging. That's depends. In India, it's about 2% to 2.2%. That is the closest, but that does not happen for every single transaction, right? Because not every single transaction happens through that. Most people are not happy paying that. 1.2% again is smaller than that, but are you happy paying that every time? Now, let's say you're trading. Would you want that to happen every time you trade? Is 1.2% just getting burnt? Not worth it, right? In like 10 trades or about in 50 trades, you're down by 50%. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for somebody who wants to use it, right? It makes sense maybe for you to attract more people to come and buy it, but it doesn't make sense for utility because people are not going to use this in the long run. Existing D apps that do not account for taxes will be unsupported. Now this is sad because you have a certain set of D apps, right? The Luna ecosystem was extremely good. You have a certain set of D apps who were trying to solve some problem, right? It could be payments, it could be whatever. They were trying to solve some problem, and now you're telling them that if you do not accept this burn mechanism, you will be unsupported. Now you have actual users, actual utility, and all of that is going to go down the drain. No guarantee that centralized exchanges will burn off chain. That's true. Tax may push remaining liquidity off chain to centralized exchanges that do not tax. This is absolutely going to happen. If people want to trade, they will no longer trade on DEXs. They'll rather move it to a centralized exchange and continue trading there. Potential deterrent in attracting new VC/fund investors. This is absolutely true because retail investors might get fooled by some gimmick like this, but institutional investors are not so dumb. Institutional investors do a lot of due diligence. They try to understand the business model, they try to understand the problem that's being solved. So they will not put money into something like this that is a short-term fix. That's nothing but a band-aid for a big wound, right? That's not going to happen. So on the whole, my 2 cents is that this proposal is not really helping. Terra Luna price might increase, but on what are you gaining by that? A short-term increase in price, but nothing beyond that. There are more such proposals. You can go through them. I've linked all this in the description, but everybody's trying to do the same thing. They have a number of spreadsheets there linked. I've linked all this in the description. You can go through it, trying to tell you what would happen to the circulating supply if the burning rate is a different number. So a lot of scenario modeling has been done. You can go through all that, but on the whole, I think a lot of people are trying to do different things to try and bring Terra Luna back to relevance. This is one interesting part of the crypto space, that is the community is really strong. The community wants to bring this back, but I feel the community should work towards making the coin or the crypto more useful. Right? Utility should be increased rather than trying to artificially increase the price. There are a lot of people sitting on let's say staking rewards which have been enormously high. So there are a lot of people sitting on a lot of coins of Luna. And most likely all of these guys want to get rid of it. Look at the staking reward as of now is something like 38%, close to 38%. So a lot of people are sitting with a lot of these coins, and at some point in time they might want to dump and exit. And you as a retail investor might come and buy into it and then hold on to it because the price just crashed. That's what is the real risk here. Please be careful, do your own research. All the links that I've showed you are linked in the description if you want to go through it. The previous video where I spoke about Terra Luna is also linked in the description if you want to go through it. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about it. Welcome to the Wave Crypto Club, and stay tuned for more such amazing videos.